In the heart of the Middle East lies one of the oldest civilizations on Earth, a land of empires, revolutions, poetry, and power. This is the story of Iran, a nation that has shaped the world for over 4,000 years. From ancient kings who ruled vast empires to modern political struggles that still influence global headlines, this is not just history, this is legacy. Welcome to the history of Iran. Iran's story begins long before the word Iran even existed. Around 3200 BC, one of the world's earliest civilizations emerged, the Elamites. They built cities like Susa, developed writing, and created complex societies. This land would become a cradle of human progress, where agriculture, architecture, and religion flourished. Then came a migration, a group known as the Aryans, arriving from Central Asia around 2000 BC. They brought with them language, culture, and beliefs that would shape Iran forever. Among them emerged one of history's earliest religions, Zoroastrianism, a faith centered on the battle between good and evil. In the 6th century BC, everything changed. A man named Cyrus the Great rose to power. He founded the Achaemenid Empire, the first Persian empire and one of the largest in history. Stretching from Egypt to India, it was a superpower of the ancient world. But Cyrus wasn't just a conqueror, he was known for tolerance and human rights. Then came Darius the Great, who expanded the empire further, building roads, systems, and one of the earliest postal networks. But no empire lasts forever. In 330 BC, a young conqueror named Alexander the Great defeated Persia. The empire fell, but Persia refused to disappear. It rose again under the Parthian Empire, and later the mighty Sasanian Empire. The Sasanians brought a golden age, with advances in science, medicine, and art. Zoroastrianism became the dominant religion. Persia once again stood as a global power, rivaling Rome itself. But then came a turning point that would change everything. In the 7th century, Arab Muslim armies swept across Persia, the Sasanian Empire collapsed, and Iran became part of the Islamic world. Zoroastrianism declined, Islam spread, but something remarkable happened. Instead of losing its identity, Persia influenced its conquerors. Iranian scholars helped shape the Islamic Golden Age, advancing science, philosophy, and literature. Persia wasn't erased, it adapted and endured. In 1501, a new dynasty changed Iran forever. The Safavids, they unified the country and made a bold decision. They declared Shia Islam as the official religion. This defined Iran's identity to this day. Under rulers like Shah Abbas, Iran became powerful, wealthy, and culturally rich. Cities like Isfahan became jewels of the world. By the 19th and early 20th centuries, Iran faced new challenges. Foreign powers, especially Britain and Russia, competed for control. In 1906, Iran experienced a constitutional revolution, creating its first parliament. Grey Art Museum, now Edu. Then came Reza Shah Pahlavi, who modernized the country, building schools, infrastructure, and industry. Grey Art Museum, now Edu. But modernization came with a cost: less freedom and growing dissatisfaction. In 1979, everything changed again. Mass protests erupted across Iran, the monarchy collapsed, the Shah fled, and a religious leader returned from exile. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. Iran became an Islamic republic, a system combining religion and government. Since the revolution, Iran has faced a long and often difficult road, a road marked by conflict, by pressure, and by resilience. Just 1 year after the revolution, war arrived. In 1980, neighboring Iraq invaded Iran, igniting what would become one of the longest and deadliest wars of the 20th century. The Iran-Iraq War lasted 8 years, 8 years of destruction, 8 years of loss, 8 years of endurance. Cities were bombed, families were torn apart, and millions of lives were changed forever. By the time it ended in 1988, over 1 million people had been killed. And yet no clear victory was achieved, only scars that would remain for generations. After the war, Iran turned inward. But new challenges quickly emerged. Economic sanctions, imposed by powerful nations, began to shape everyday life. These sanctions targeted Iran's economy, its oil, its trade, its global connections. Over time, they slowed growth, raised inflation, and affected millions of ordinary people. Yet despite the pressure, Iran did not collapse. Instead, it adapted. Industries developed internally, scientific research continued, and a strong sense of national identity grew even deeper. But modern Iran has not been without unrest. Over the years, many citizens have taken to the streets, calling for reform, for opportunity, and for change. These moments of protest reflect a nation in conversation with itself, a society balancing tradition and modernity. At the same time, Iran's role on the global stage has remained complex. Tensions with Western nations, debates over nuclear development, and regional influence have kept Iran at the center of international attention, even today. Conflict and uncertainty still shape headlines. Recent geopolitical tensions have affected global oil supply and regional stability. Inside the country, economic hardship and political pressure continue to challenge everyday life. And yet there is another side to Iran, a quieter but powerful story, a story of culture, of poetry that has inspired the world for centuries, of science, innovation, and education. Iran is the homeland of great thinkers, artists, and visionaries, from ancient philosophers To modern scientists, its intellectual legacy continues. Walk through the streets of Tehran today and you will see a nation alive with contrast, ancient traditions standing beside modern life, young people full of ambition connected to a global world, yet deeply rooted in their history. Despite everything, war, sanctions, and uncertainty, Iran endures, not just as a political state, but as a civilization. A civilization that has survived empires, invasions, and revolutions because Iran is more than its struggles. It is a nation of resilience, a nation of identity, a nation that continues to shape the world in ways both seen and unseen. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, because history is never truly in the past.